Alright, the Texas weekend review. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Because all the auto racing we have to talk about all took place in the great state of Texas, even Formula One. So yeah, enough talk, let's jump right into it. So Xfinity race, well, it's Xfinity. It was a pretty boring race. It was mainly dominated by Christopher Bell throughout the race. His only main competition was like Custer and Reddick. But then Reddick got in a crash late in the race. Gregson and Briscoe also had bad finishes too. But once Reddick crashed, it just gave Christopher Bell an easy path to the win at Texas. And with Christopher Bell's win, Christopher Bell is now locked into the championship 4 at Homestead. I mean, Christopher Bell's had a really outstanding season. I mean, 8 wins is no easy feat. 8 or 7. I'm not sure what the number is. I think it's 8. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, had a really solid season. And he's showing no signs of letting up, Christopher. So Christopher Bell, go get that title before you head off to Cup to take the 95 next year. So yeah, that means entering Phoenix next week, there are now 3 spots up for grabs. Of course, I'll talk about the points when we get to it, but with Cole Custer, though, he has enough points to where he just needs to start the car, and he'll be locked in once they take the green flag. But even though Reddick crashed, he still has a gazillion points. So Reddick still is safe on points for now. But yeah, it's going to be a tight race. Like, the point situation, it's simply going to be where, I'll get to the points, of course, like I said at the end. But it's simply at the point to where everybody needs Allgaier to have a bad finish. I mean, it's very possible it could happen. I mean, Allgaier, he had a bad finish at Phoenix last year. Where in the 3rd stage, after he ran well throughout the race, Allgaier then fell apart. And ended up finishing near the bottom of the field. So it's very possible for Allgaier for history to repeat itself. Because we've seen Phoenix in the past be a wild card race, so you never know. Anyway, let's move on because we got an F1 race with championship implications. So here's the situation. So Lewis Hamilton. There are 2 ways Lewis can lock up the World Drivers' Championship at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Lewis wins the title if either A, Valtteri Bottas wins the race and Lewis Hamilton finishes 8th or better. B, if Valtteri Bottas wins the race and Lewis finishes 9th or better with the fastest lap of the race. Because remember, the fastest lap is an extra bonus point if you finish in the top 10. But if Valtteri Bottas fails to win the race, Lewis Hamilton locks up the title automatically. So yes, that is the situation at hand. I mean, it's an F1 race, a race mainly dominated by the Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas dominated the early part, but Lewis Hamilton went on a one-stop strategy to take the lead. And he dominated the remaining part of the race. But Lewis Hamilton could not hold on to the lead because the tires ended up losing grip because one stop was not enough strategy. Could not stay ahead. So in the end, Valtteri Bottas comes through. He wins the race. Now the question is, where does Lewis Hamilton finish? Lewis Hamilton ends up finishing 2nd. Which means because of Lewis's 2nd place finish, Lewis Hamilton has now locked up the 2019 Formula One World Drivers' Championship. Yay, another Lewis Hamilton title. Lewis Hamilton now has 6 reigns. So Lewis Hamilton gets his 6th title in a very forgettable F1 season that was completely dominated by Mercedes. And now with the snap of Lewis's fingers, he now makes half of F1 disappear. Valtteri Bottas, you should have gone for the head. God damn it. I mean, we had to make an Avengers reference in that one because now Lewis has 6 titles. So yes, Lewis Hamilton, welcome to the 6th title club. You joined Tom Brady, you also joined Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and you also joined Michael Jordan in the 6 Rings Club. Welcome in, bud. Welcome in. I mean, as much as I hate Lewis Hamilton winning the title all the goddamn time and I want a new champion, you gotta give credit where it's due. Lewis Hamilton, a very talented driver, a very good sportsman. You know, hey, he deserved it, earned the title fair and square. So that means the next two F1 races are now pretty much meaningless. It's just for pride, and now it's for also just to build momentum for next season. I mean, F1, they're going to need to do some major changes. Oh, wait. F1 is doing a nuclear blow-up in 2021. I'll give my thoughts on the new regulations coming to F1 in 2021. I mean, it has potential to help the racing out entirely. Because it's too far out. You know, make it more closer. Mainly trying to reduce the loss of downforce when you're behind somebody. Because currently with this car, the loss of downforce is around 40 to 50%. The new car in 2021, it's going to be a loss of 10% behind somebody in downforce. You know, better airflow, you know, to try and get rid of the dirty air behind somebody. That way they're trying to increase the quality of passing and create more closer and exciting racing and more sustainable racing. And the new thing F1 has, because this is the biggest rule regulation changes they've ever had, they're also implementing a cost cap, which is another way of calling it a salary cap. So the new cost cap is going to be $175 million max you can spend on the performance of the car, which includes most replacing any of the parts on it, like gearboxes or engine units, and R&D in general. Also limiting the number of upgrades you can have for R&D to try and make it more efficient and make the sport more economically sustainable, which I like it a lot. You know, try and make it more closer for everybody, give everyone a fair budget. I could see the $175 million going down because most teams in F1 don't even spend close to $100 million. I think the cost cap is what the sport truly needed, because you look at last year, Red Bull, I think it was revealed Red Bull spent over $400 million on R&D and performance in general. And they spent all that money to still be the third best car in the grid. Damn. So yeah, you got that to come forward in 2021. And there's also some engine regulation changes also coming in 2020. So yeah, and I heard it's not that much of a fall off in terms of speed for the F1 cars in 2021. Heard it's a fall off of around 2 to 3 seconds, so not much of a difference. So, okay. I'm taking, of course, wider tires. Obviously. So, yeah. I think this F1 car has a lot of potential. I mean, has a lot of potential than the Gen 6 car. Then NASCAR's Gen 7 car is going to really need to work now. Especially with F1. I'll tell you right now, if the cost cap goes as planned for F1 and it works, I could see other auto racing places doing it too. I could see it being implemented in NASCAR. Because the amount of money used on a team is just outright ridiculous. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, with all that out of the way, we now got a cup race to talk about. So, the cup race at Texas. Well, we have a meme that we can use that we haven't used in a while. It was a race dominated and won by, what do you know, fucking Harvick. Yep, Kevin Harvick dominated and won Texas. Again. Third year in a row at Texas. He's pretty much the new Jimmy Johnson at Texas now. Because, remember, Jimmy Johnson always won at Texas like the back of his goddamn hand. And now Harvick's winning at Texas all the goddamn time. But yeah, Harvick gets the win at Texas. And with Harvick's win, Harvick is officially locked into the Championship 4. Man, this has become a normal thing with Harvick in the Final 4. Like, Harvick's made the Final 4 every year. Except for 2016. But of course, Harvick, though, maybe Harvick can pull off a dark horse title run. Because it didn't look possible. It didn't look like Harvick would come close to the Final 4 at the start of the year. When he was struggling trying to get grips with the new Ford Mustang. And he kept and the Ford's teams, and Harvick specifically, kept shooting himself in the foot. Because Harvick should have a lot more than 4 wins this year, but he's found every single way to shoot himself in the foot and cost himself win after win after win. Like, Harvick really didn't get going until that win at Loudon. Once Harvick got that win, he really then started piling it on. He entered the chase as the hottest driver in the chase. Like, I will honestly say he was one of the hottest drivers going in over Eric Jones. Eric was the second hottest, and then Eric completely fell apart. See, I think, honestly, one of the reasons I had Harvick out in the second round, because I was thinking Harvick was going to get out with a bad finish, but that never happened. Harvick just got hot at the right time, and he's in the Final Four. Can Harvick turn that momentum into a championship? We'll have to see. But also, Kyle Busch had a solid finish, too, along with Logano. Blaney and Larson were pretty man to back of the field. Hamlin had a lot of problems, so Hamlin's now in a hole entering Phoenix. And Chase Elliott had another wreck, and his hole is so ridiculous that Chase Elliott is now in a must-win scenario entering Phoenix to keep his hopes alive. But yeah, honestly, what do we blame for this Texas race? Do we blame the package or this track's reconfigured repave? Honestly, I'd say it's a bit of both. Like, this package has been complete ass all year. Not only that, Texas has been complete ass in general. Like, it used to be a very exciting race. Now it's one of the worst races of the year. Because NASCAR, in typical fashion, somehow managed to fuck the Texas reconfiguration up. It went from being a 2 or 3 groove racetrack to now being just 1 groove. And it's sort of sad considering how the Texas races were in the past, how good they were, and now to see this abomination. It's just outright sad. But anyway, next week at Phoenix for the Cup race, 2 spots on the line in an elimination race. All 3 series in action. In trucks, there are 4 spots up for grabs. Xfinity, 3 spots up for grabs. And Cup, 2 spots up for grabs. So I went over the truck points last week entering Phoenix. So watch the NASCAR review last weekend to figure it out. So let's go look at the Xfinity and Cup points and see where everyone stands entering the elimination race at Phoenix. So here are the Xfinity points entering Phoenix. So you got Custer 52 to the good. Honestly, Custer is safe. He just needs to start the car, take the green flag, and he'll be locked in no matter what. Locked in. Tyler Reddick, he just needs a couple stage points, and he's pretty much safe. Reddick is pretty much safe, so I say he's pretty much in. But it's really just a battle now for the 4th and final spot. Then again, we've seen crazier shit happen at Phoenix. So, yeah, we've seen Phoenix in the past be a wild card race. So, yeah, Allgaier's 18 points is nowhere close to safe. So, you see Briscoe's 18 points out. You got Annette 28 out. And you got Cindric 31 out. And Gregson's 47 point out. At this point, Noah Gregson's not going to make that 47 up in one race. So, Gregson's going to need to win the race. But Briscoe, Annette, and Cindric, it's possible they can make those points up. They pretty much need to have a strong run and get stage points. And they need to hope what happened to Allgaier last year happens again. They need history to repeat itself to have a shot at the Final Four. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy, chaotic Phoenix race. Because like I said before, we've seen Phoenix in the past be a wild card race. It could be a race that really shakes up the championship picture. So, yeah. Gonna be a very interesting race. But, yeah, let's take a look at the Cup points. So, here are the Cup points entering Phoenix. So, you got Kyle Busch, 22 points to the good, and you got Logano, 20 points to the good. So, we're potentially at risk of having the same Final Four 2 years in a row. Oh god, that would really be the icing on the cake for this disaster of a season. You got Hamlin 20 points out. You got Blaney and Larson 23 points out. And you see there Chase Elliott 80 points out. He will not mathematically make that up on one race. Chase Elliott's only hope of making the Final Four is winning the race, winning at Phoenix. So Chase's plan at Phoenix is simple. It's win or go home. If you don't win, you're out. And for anyone wondering at home, max points you can gain or lose in a race is 59 points. I believe max points you can get in a race is 60, but fewest you can get in a race is 1. So yeah, max you can gain or lose is 59. But yeah, Blaney, Larson, and Hamlin, they all need to have strong runs and need Kyle Busch and Joey Logano to have bad finishes. The question is, though, could we see payback between Hamlin and Logano? Could they take each other out? And could we see Almirola get payback at Kyle Busch from Martinsville? Like, there's a potential we could see Phoenix 2017 payback all over again when Chase Elliott got back at Hamlin. Because I always look at here, you know what, Texas is too big of a track to get payback at, but Phoenix is a good track to get vengeance at. Because remember, Martinsville, Almirola said he was going to make Kyle's life a living hell the rest of the year. And I imagine Hamlin and Logano are still pissed at each other. I could see... So, we could see the worst case scenario play out. So all I say for Phoenix is simple. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. We won't know who's in until the end of until the checkered flag falls. All I say is fasten your seatbelts. And we also saw how wild of a race it was last year. So yeah, this is going to be a wild ride next Sunday. But yeah, that's the points entering next Sunday. So yeah, that's all I got to say, folks. Hope everyone's a great day, and yeah, peace out.